Welcome back to Bailey with Guernsey Shipwrecks. Can you guess where I am? I'm down the west coast again, and I'm going out with all three Caro brothers today. I believe they're on the boat just here. I can't wait. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do. I think we're going to go quite far down the coast, maybe Salle or something like that. We might even look for a new shipwreck, but I'm just going to take what comes along today. It's so nice. The weather is absolutely beautiful. Just a tiny whisper wind, but look at it. Awesome. Here comes Paul to pick me up in the dinghy. Let's get my gear ready and let's get ready to go. Right, we're almost there. What are we? 7 minutes away. Shows you how far out to sea it is. In between the bird poo. Get ready, I'm going in first. So the shot's ready. It's our shot today. We on site?
Yeah, we'll just pass over it.
Lovely. We get the shot out, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a
little bit of tide running.
Tide yet.
Still running a little, yeah.
Still running for the low. No, for the low. That's interesting.
So we'll be waiting around a little bit. Give it 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So with the shot firmly into the wreck, I'll get ready on the boat under the careful eye of Martin and Glyn. Paul drops me right in front of the buff. There's a bit of tide running south. As I enter the water, I realise that there's quite a bit of tide already here, but I'm going to pull myself down anyway. The shot's pulled into something strong, so let's make our way down. This wreck really isn't very deep. In fact, from some of the photographs you can see it's sunk, and still, most of it's out of the water. It's probably about 18-19 metres deep. It varies over the whole site because in some places there's massive boulders and other places there's small boulders. So we reach the bottom, but we don't really know much about this wreck, so let's have a little bit of a catch up. So, 28th of May 1965. Ship founders of West Coast, crew is saved. 39 in number. The Salle was fairly large itself at 5,879 tonnes. She was built at Flattened in 1953. This was one of the biggest shipbuilders in Germany, and they built their last ship in 2003. La Salle, roughly translated as the room, was 146.9 metres long, 18.3 metres wide and 7.6 metres deep, carrying 9,000 tonnes of bulk oats from Australia back to Hamburg. It's not surprising that it broke its back pretty quickly on the reef. Her proximity to the west coast of Guernsey was approximately 2 miles out, and she probably hit Saint-Brieuc or Souffleris off of Perel Bay. As she hadn't totally sunk, salvage attempts were made and basically everything was stripped out the inside. Because of her exposed location on the west coast, she stayed together relatively okay until about the 7th of June 1965 when the stern snapped away. It didn't take long before the winter months came along, and on the 18th of September, a gale one evening tore her apart and she disappeared. Her captain was Douglas Trail. Due to her very exposed location and the fact that it's a jumble sail of a shipwreck, it's very rarely dived. Check the tide already, it's just starting to pull south. It's getting stronger and stronger as the dive goes on. We'll have to see how we get on. These fish in front of me are pelt. They're amazing, these fish. You don't see any fish when you arrive on the bottom. They seem to just come out and join you, almost accept you into their shoal straight away. They're decent size, these ones, and I'm told they taste quite nice as well. I've dived this shipwreck a few times now, and every time I dive it I seem to hit a different location, but all of these locations are a mystery to me, because this shipwreck has just been smothered, almost spread like butter across the seabed. There's really heavy ground heave here, and I can imagine it just pries on all the plates, just bends them. This is probably a gunnel or something, but check out these members, just completely smashed to pieces and bent. There's quite a thick steel as well. Possibly skin fittings. Loads of bits and bobs on the seabed. That's probably a pipe that used to go through the skin fitting. You can tell it's been riveted together. My main aim on this dive is to try and figure out what's where. So we know the coordinates we dropped in on, and we're just trying to figure out roughly where it is. I want to try and do some sort of map of this shipwreck. It's probably going to be pretty hard to draw, but I still want to try. Let's take a swim to the north and see if we can find anything that we can recognise. Plenty of different wrasse on here. There's some cook wrasse. There's a female cuckoo wrasse. I can imagine this is like prime location for all the fish to live in. They can go underneath these plates for protection. I was expecting to see more congers on this, but don't seem to be. Check out the iridescent collars on this seaweed. It's like purples and stuff. The majority is red seaweed. Not quite sure what that is. Just take a glance back to check on the shot line and make sure it isn't going to go anywhere, because now it's almost horizontal. Because I'm on the bottom, there's not much tide, but I can tell that if I went up, there'd be quite a bit of tide. Listen to all the cracking in the background. You get this in shallow water, especially where there's loads of seaweed. Not quite sure what's making the cracking noise, but it sounds quite eerie sometimes. I'm going to take a swim up tide from the shot line, so I can just take a nice little swim back. We'll see if we can find anything that's recognisable. Even on a relatively calm day, you can see the seaweed going back and forth. This is what we refer to as ground heave. It makes you feel a little bit sick after a while. not quite sure what this is. This shipwreck is just so confusing because it's so smashed up. This is some sort of square plate, upside down box maybe. Don't know. There's all sorts of bits and bobs in between. It's like layers. Loads of layers stacked on top of each other. Every so often you think you see stuff that you know. I think this is a winch, but it's completely smashed apart. It's maybe an air vent. I'm not sure. Could be a smashed up bollard. There's loads of bits. It's just all ripped apart. It's literally been shredded on the seabed. And although it is sort of late summer, there's a little bit of seaweed, but not a massive amount. These bits to my right look like hanging knees, maybe just underneath a deck where it goes down to a gunwale or a bulwark. I recognise one of these. This is one of the derricks, I think. I think this is one of the big pipes on the derrick. You can see all the way up it. Let's take a swim to the end. So I want to see if there's one of them either domes on the top or one of these big T-brackets which they normally hang a shackle or a pulley from. And we'll be able to tell if it's the one in front of the wheelhouse or possibly one in the centre of the ship. Some sort of bracket. It's not big enough to be a T-bracket though. It's really getting quite hard to swim along this, but we'll carry on. I've set myself a bit of a mission, so let's go and get it done. Doesn't look like there's any more shipwreck after it, so is this the bottom or the top? I've got a funny feeling this is probably the top and it's fallen away from the shipwreck. That's why there's no wreckage behind us. I reckon this must have been one with a dome on the top. The dome's long gone. There's also a massive fracture through the length of it by the looks of it. The tide's trying to push me inside the hole, so I've got to prevent myself from going inside the hole. I probably could swim right the way through it, but a bit dangerous. Yeah, you can see right the way through. Probably 2.5 foot diameter. I don't think I will fit all the way through it. Let's just swim along the top, that's much safer. I know what I'll do is I'll take a look down the side of it as well and see if I can see a ladder. So on one of the images there's a ladder there. There's odd bits of stuff down here. Again, everything just stacked up and rotted away. Looks like a tiny bit of aluminium or maybe copper. There's nothing written on it. We'll leave it there. Tuck it there, just looks good there. No, definitely nothing on it. That's a shame. Let's carry on. Hang on, this looks like it's got a big T-bracket on this side possibly. Or maybe that's where it's bolted to the ship. Nah, I think that's probably where it is bolted through the deck. Those are big chunks of RSJs and it's a weird sort of bracket here. Almost like a sort of stirrup in a way. Wonder what that was for. Trying to expose it a little bit so we can see it. Don't know. Not quite sure which way to go. I know this large round cylinder, if it's a vent or a pole or a derrick or whatever, leads straight back down to the shot line. So if I swim in the same direction I hit the shot line, but kind of want to swim over that way and see what's there. You can see it's raised from the seabed. Just have a quick look down here. It's old cables. It's a really old bit of cable in some sort of insulation, rubber. Loads of bits of it down here. Potentially, I don't know, maybe it done some navigation lights or some powerful floodlights that are on these derricks. Not sure. Loads of little chunks of it. Shows how bad it is around here. Even the cable's been, well, it's not even cable, I don't think. It's just chopped up into little chunks. Explore a bit off to the left. Tell you what I'll do. I'll just make sure I sort of measure how far I go. Probably 10 or 15 fin kicks. Make sure I come back in the same direction, just so I don't miss a shot line. Right, now I've seen this before, so we're going to head off to the left, I think. Look at that cool little red fish. Although there's not much left actually on the seabed, you know, and anything that's really noticeable, there is still some stuff that you can go and see the shipwreck in the museum. At Fort Grey they've got bits and bobs they've managed to salvage before it was lost to the sea. This is typical for a shipwreck. You find a little sherds of tile just like this. It's completely smashed up to pieces. By that you can almost guess you're near the accommodation block. So I think we're probably just astern of the wheelhouse. Checking under all these plates, they can give away clues of where we are as well. You just got to be careful you don't bump into maybe a conger eel or something like that. But they're not going to attack you. Treat them with respect and they'll treat you with respect back. It's a little snake looking enemy. It's made itself home here. trying to keep bearings of how far I've gone along this plate. Just trying to figure out how many fin kicks I've taken. I really don't want to forget, because I really need to be going up that shot line again. If I'm completely honest, I really haven't got a clue where I am on the shipwreck. Could literally be anywhere. Loads of huge flat plates. Something there is recognisable. It's a little light switch, I think. Or possibly, yeah, I think it's a light switch. There's other bits and bobs. Old bit of copper piping that's completely flat. Look at it. Completely mangled. Chuck it back. See if we can have a look where this light switch is going to. Let's just take a look around here as well. Try and figure out if this light switch was in the accommodation area or not. Just looks like a massive plate. Could have been a deck plate, possibly. I'm unsure. Oh, there's another switch just here. So there's two light switches. Or it could have been a joint box of some sort. Oh, something living inside it now. You can see it goes all the way along here. Fixed to the side. So maybe we are near the accommodation area, or certainly where there are electrical, something electrical was. It's like a sponge or something living inside it now. Tiny little sherds of, tiny little bits of electricity cable left. Let's carry on and have a look, because we ain't got much time left. So luckily somehow I went around in a big arc and I'm back to this, well, I think it's the same one. Yeah, I think it's the same one. Yeah, because here's the box to the left that we've seen before. So, and the fish are joined me again. So yeah, we must be back to the shot line soon. Need to go up the shot line, one, because I need to try and make sure it's not wrapped up in anything. And two, I told Paul I'll be coming back up with it. The tide is starting to rip pretty strongly now, so need to make sure I come back up with it. And this is that massive plate which we first landed on, so fairly confident it's over my right shoulder now. Is that in the distance? Nope, there it is. Oh, quite relieved now. I'll get back to this, but look at it, it's pretty taut now, so I've got a feeling we're going to be in for a bit of tide. Look at my air bubbles. That's the thing in Guernsey, you sort of get used to working in the tide. If you want to dive some of these wrecks, you've got to be prepared to take a bit of tide with it as well. So let's head up now. So with the tide done, we head back home and we take in the scenery as Paul takes the inside passage in between all the reefs. Doesn't look imposing on a calm day, but I can imagine with a bit of a swell run through it's pretty crazy. You out the tide now? We were pushing.
Slow off down here again as well.
Pushing the tide all the way back takes a lot longer, doesn't it?
Certainly does. Yeah.
So what does it normally go, 6 knots?
Yeah, 6. No, downhill.
Downhill, yeah.
That's the black rock there.
This one here, yeah?
No, big square one.
Oh, yeah, that one.
So the Channel Queen's literally just over the other side of it. This sort of aggregation is Blue Canal.
quite far away when you look from there back to land. You wouldn't want it to swim that.
No, that'd be nice, especially now. I mean, you'd jump out here and you'd end up with us all day.
You would do for sure. It's enjoyable, that one. Yeah, you can see on the plotted area there's rocks literally all around us.
Yeah, you can shoot up and down. Where those spots are, you can shoot straight out. You can go through here anytime.
You can see the tide, even just on these buffs here. 4.3 knots, 0.7 of a knot drop there. You can see it all the time. Look, there's eddies and whirlpools and all sorts. Nice little whirlpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3.5.
3.5 knots.
3.4.
3.3. Yeah, it's amazing. They go through a little bit of a bottleneck.
Yeah.
We're going back up now. There's how strong the tide is. Look at that as well. Look. What do you call this? Pull the neck. Through the neck.
Well, I don't know where it's going, mate. That's Peron and Queno, and
I don't think I've seen that much of them. Thanks, Paul.
Okay.
Cheers for taking us out. Picking up our gear. That's if Paul doesn't drive off the pier. He's there. Let's go and load the gear up and go home. Thanks for coming along on another one. I hope you enjoyed that. Really nice pelt. We'll catch you on the next tide.